Hello, welcome to the halftime Acsom analysis, hosted by myself, Sean, joined so far by Anthony, my brother from Western Australia. We're watching this at 9:20 p.m. at night right now, and so far so good. Liam has also just joined us to talk about what we've witnessed in the first half of the New Year's Day Glasgow derby. Anthony, how about you give us a brief synopsis of how you saw that?
Well, I think Liam summed it up really well before the game, like chaos ball, because that's kind of pretty much what we've seen. The pressing's really good. I mean, I don't know where it went against Motherwell, but it was back. It's back tonight. Rangers can't get out their own half. We're turning over possession very quickly. We're looking good up until that final ball gets played in. Unfortunately, Johnny Kenny just not quite up to the mark. It really should be out of sight. We really should be about 3-0 up by now. This should be done and dusted, but fortunately, we're up. It's 1-0. We're winning. But I really feel a second goal would really have been the fair sort of scoreline going into half time. But yeah, we're just, the biggest challenge now is coming out in the second half with the same intensity, because Celtic under Nancy has been very much a Jekyll and Hyde. One half you get one thing, second half you get another. So it's really important that we come out with the same intensity, keep creating the chances. And yeah, like I said, the rest should hopefully take care of itself. But like I said, really positive. Typical Glasgow derby. The form lines don't really do it any justice. It's almost a game in sort of in situ. And yeah, and like I say, we're 1-0 up. Should be more. Let's see what the second half brings.
I agree. I'd say that our opponents, Sevco, look a lot like we've been playing recently, looking very shaky at the back, very unassured. They tried to impose themselves physically in the first 10 minutes, picked up a yellow card on Asgard, and I wonder if that's the goal that Yang scores. What a goal. That one will, if this is a positive result today, then that one will be going down in the history books, where he picks it up out in the right wing. And I think I watched it back, and it was at least 5 Sevco players have a chance to challenge him and don't. One of them is Asgard after his yellow card. So I wonder if that's we talk about this to death, right? If referees don't get the yellow card out early when it's merited, then players will just keep doing it all game. And that yellow card maybe caused him to hesitate, where otherwise he might have brought Yang down. And it means there's a goal, a great, beautiful goal in the game that wouldn't have otherwise been there. A couple of people in the comments. Brave Sir Robin, Yang's wife must be back over again. He's been great so far. I've actually been struck not just by the goal, but Yang's his aerial ability, because he nearly scores a header as well. That back post one where he goes in at the back. And he's got, is it Magoma? He's absolutely got Magoma on toast aerially. So I wonder if that's something we should be looking to exploit as well. But then we also see the other side of Yang just before halftime, where Johnny Kenny's made a really good front post run, and Yang's cross hits the tarpaulin where green grade should be. So we're seeing every side of Yang in that sense. But so far he is the difference between the teams. Liam, comments?
Well, I think it's 50-50 at the moment for who gets man of the match. Is it Yang, or is it that wee boy that was getting Chermiti and Vicky when he got his goal chopped off? It's been a really entertaining game. It's a very open game. Let's say both sides have got quite obvious defensive issues, but what a goal for Yang. What a goal. The last time I remember seeing a goal that good against Rangers was probably, remember the one James Forrest scored a few years ago, similar circumstance, where he cut in and beat about 3 men and stuck it away in the bottom corner. It reminded me of that. It's been good. It's been good. I do wonder though if there's any truth in what I said before the game, that the players are just kind of playing to their strengths today and maybe not necessarily following everything the manager's telling them. So I'm seeing a lot of shouting from Nancy on the sideline. I'm not seeing much response from the players, but we're still playing very well. So
I'll tell you what I'm seeing, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong or not. But what I'm seeing is when we're in possession, we're still playing that stretched back three. But when we're out of possession, look, McCowan is tucking in at left back. Now, Luke McCown's absolutely getting it tight in the comments here, but and there's one point where the main chance that Sevco had in the half was where Gassama gets 1-on-1 with Schmeichel, and Schmeichel pulls off a world-class save, let's be honest. And that ball comes from Raskin through the channel between Tierney and McCown. And watch it second half, you'll see there's other times where we're out of possession, and it's McCown tucking in at left back. So I'd confidently said before the game that McCown was going to be playing number 10 and not left wing back, but it seems like he's doing neither of those things. Maeda is playing some sort of hybrid 10 striker left winger role. Nygren's just got a free role, and McCown is being asked to cover defensively on the left-hand side. It's a very interesting hybrid system. So I don't know. Am I being harsh? Am I being correct in my analysis, Anthony? Are you seeing the same as me, or are you not? Is it not something that stood out?
I'd say Nygren's having a poor game. He has his decision making every time he gets on the ball has been the wrong decision pretty much every time. Turning into players, not finding the easy pass, or just taking the wrong option literally every time he got on the ball. So for me, he's one that potentially could make way for maybe re-attack in the second half. Maeda's been quiet. Usually dies in a derby. Usually he's thrown in a couple of lunging sort of tackles by now, but I haven't really seen much from him. So maybe there's maybe he's got something to say in the second half. But he's sort of had a few missed time runs from the crosses that have been coming in, but that's pretty much been about it. Kenny, like I say, I touched on that at the start. If we had an actual out and out centre forward, this game would be out of sight. So, he had a good little bit of link up play right before the end of the half, but up until that, again, shooting when he should be passing. And then he did get that one shot away that Butland did. He forced a really good save there. So that was probably his, the one bit that he did well. But the first chance that he got, the one that he burst through, he's got to put that past the keeper, but he's literally had it straight down Butland's throat. So, annoying. To come at your point about the left back situation, I kind of feel that our three at the back actually look a little bit more like a three at the back today. Austin Trusty does have the support there when he needs it. Ralston's having an excellent game, so Liam, fair shout. He's having a good game. He's in the contest, and Ralston in the contest is a good thing. And I actually think we look better down our right hand side today, and I think that's probably the first time I've said that since AJ's been injured. Usually it all goes down our left, and today our most threatening play has well and truly come down our right. Yang's having a brilliant game, and like I say, at the moment he's sort of ticked for man of the match at the moment. But we'll see. But like I said, down the left, Tierney and McCown. I think McCown's still struggling to figure out that position. And you're right. There was a gap left for that chance. He sort of left a little bit too much room there. We'll see. It's a work in progress, but we just, like I say, we just need more goals. We don't create these chances, got to score goals, because for a fact that they're going to get chances in the second half. And Schmeichel did pull the save. He did get his big mitt on that one and stripped it. I thought it was stripped it into the back of the net, but he managed to strip it around the post. So he's done his bit. But like I said, we just a couple more goals, and let's just have an easy second half. But and I know that probably won't be the case.
Well, let's be positive. Let's hope that like we've done it quite a lot in the last few weeks, where we've been positive at halftime, and it's kind of unraveled in the second half, and hopefully that's not the case today. A couple of the features you're talking about, the right hand side looking good. I do agree. There's actually been a lot more passing between Schmeichel and Ralston than I would like, but Ralston is executed well enough, and we've had a lot of movement up front, and the Sevco defense has been really high. I don't know if you know, in the first minute or two, every single one of their players, when they have possession out of the corner flag, every single one of their players apart from Butland is in our half, which again is a feature of our system that we've been playing. So I think they're trying to out Celtic, and I don't have the quality to do it. So obviously with their right hand side looking good, part of that is Magoma is just a 10. I don't rate Magoma at all. So I'm going to give it. I'm give them their flowers, but I think part of that comes into the opponent, so that could change at some point. There could be a substitution. But yeah, like it's Trusty as well is not he's only had one recovery tackle to do, and he normally has about 2 or 3 per half. So that's it. And another thing that we talked about pre-match was they are a threat at set piece, and we look very well drilled defending set
Connor
pieces.
Barron's not putting in good deliveries though.
It's true.
That's helped. The threat's not been there from there. Another thing I want to get your thoughts on, just coming me there, but Fernandez and that elbow on Engels early in the game.
Yeah.
Do you think VAR should have looked at that? Because I mean,
I am a proponent of VAR being less involved where possible. Now, if the referee sees it and sends him off, VAR does not overturn that. That's one of those ones where it's goes with on-field decision. If the ref sees it, it's an elbow to the face. It is. That can easily be justified and interpreted as a red card. But if the referee doesn't see it, then VAR can also interpret that as his arm slid up, and it's not swinging an elbow; it's sliding up the body, and therefore it should be a yellow card. But that's VAR's position.
I think he should have been booked. I was lucky to get away with it myself.
Yeah, but the VAR can't give a yellow card. Yeah. So look, if the referee sees that, gives a red card. If Douglas Ross is on the line shouting red, and that was a callback to a situation that was very similar where Simunovic gets the red card.
Yes.
Then I think the red card stands. But yeah, I think we have looked sound defending set pieces so far, even if Connor Barron's deliveries haven't been that great. Liam, any concerns going into the second half? Positive? Do you think Celtic are going to freshen up? They have looked a bit sluggish. What do you see happening here?
They will have their spell of pressure because they always do. So the first 15 minutes of the second half are going to be really important that we don't concede anything and keep it tight. We need at least one more goal because they've not had the penalty yet. And also, just an unfortunate characteristic of Celtic in recent weeks is that our second half is usually not as good as our first half. So there's going to be that natural sort of, maybe easing off is the wrong word, but I don't want the tempo to drop in the second half, but I'm afraid that it might, and that's what I'm worried about.
There's also the possibility that with substitutions, we might see the quality drop. So if you look at that bench, Araujo is probably going to make his debut. Bernardo and Hatate, Cadwell and Forrest, Donovan are probably the most likely. Any concerns, Anthony, about any of those subs lining up? Which ones would you want to see? Which ones are going to be a noticeable drop in quality for us that's a concern for you?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say how Shin would be a drop in quality for Kenny if he decides to make a change. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kenny could go out and score 2 goals the first 15 minutes of the second half, and I'd be like, well, he's made an absolute fool of me, and well, I'd take that in a heartbeat. So I want Celtic to win. But so yeah, I don't see an issue there. You've got Bernardo for the engine room if you need it. Hatate, I think, will be a stick on to replace Nygren if Nancy's watching the same game I'm watching. And then the wide players will naturally tire, but at the moment I wouldn't necessarily be changing anything. I'd play it the next 10-15 minutes and see where we sort of get to. But I'd have no problem with if we're under the cosh, Donovan coming on at the right side of that wing back position. But we'll see. I don't think Wilfred's Nancy's don't want to play these coaches. I think it makes changes at halftime anyway, unless obviously it's allegedly a sports science thing. But I'd like to think the sports science would be leaving this game well alone and saying everyone's eligible to play 90 minutes if they're if they're fit, sort of thing. So like I say, we'll see where it brings. But yeah, like I say, the only two changes I'd be looking at would be Kenny and Nygren. Maybe the two for me. But at the moment, I mean, like I say, I'm happy to give them 10-15 minutes to prove me wrong. But yeah, that would be where I'd be looking at the moment.
There's been a few coming in the comments defending Kenny there, defending his honour. Kenny's playing very well, according to Bob J, 2447. Just in front of goal, he's nervous and causing him all sorts of problems by his movement. True, but he's a striker, and part of his job is scoring goals. And then Roy Jacobson, Kenny has played well other than scoring. Again, he is a striker. He needs to score goals.
I agree with that point, though, because I actually said the same thing during the game. I says, Kenny is doing everything right apart from his shooting. which sounds stupid for a striker, but
I know where you're coming
merit in
from.
it.
I know where you're coming from, Liam. I agree to a point. I think the Motherwell game showed that we do need a focal point striker for the formation to work. Like playing a false nine or whatever, that didn't work. You need a striker in there, and yeah, he is linking up from time to time, but he's got to get on the end of some of those chances. And it's clock's ticking, but fingers crossed, second half incoming.
Hopefully at the end of the game, we're talking about a Kenny hat trick and a famous Celtic win. That's it, guys. The game's starting now, so what we'll do is we'll see you at half time, and hopefully we're having a nice positive conversation. Come on, the Celtic.